was looking at some cars in a parking lot earlier, and the disease of humanity became viscerally apparent to me. You know, hatred of humankind started to feel like a smooth tonic to quench a deep thirst. But I guess at the end of the day, my ego prevents me from yielding completely to misanthropy. After all, I'm human. And as far as I can tell, I'm also completely incapable of hating myself. So to hate humanity, I would either have to find it within myself to hate myself, or I would have to find a level of delusion to fancy myself something other than human. I'd have to think I was like a vampire or something like that, you know. If I truly believed in the concept, I'd probably call it an injustice that I have to be human. I have to be another one of these techno apes on this doomed ball of death, slathered in concrete and broiling under the tireless sun of this dauntless and seemingly never-ending freaking summer. This is the sort of prose that I try to avoid, usually, right? This is what gets me called edgy. I wonder why people do that, you know? Like, why do they dismiss this kind of talk as edgy? Like, you don't feel this way? You never feel this way? Like, don't you ever look at the world, look at your fellow human beings, and just think to yourself, ew, gross. These things are slime. These things are sludge. These things are horrible, and that's what I am? Like, talk about a blow to your pride, right? Gets even worse, I feel, like when you realize that the people around you aren't even necessarily like the worst of them. Like, there are Nazis and rapists and Republicans out there. It's so demeaning to be the same species as these things, and like there's a whole planet of them. But of course, you know, that's just one feeling. I could just as easily be looking at like a beautiful painting or hearing a piece of music and think to myself, wow, the fact that another human being achieved this makes me feel like we're not hopeless. There is something about this experience of being human that fundamentally does feel kind of amazing and beautiful, right? It's not enough to make me like love humanity or something, but it's enough, you know, to make me not so ashamed to be human. Because if a human being can create a work of art that makes me feel, and let's be clear here, not know, but feel like the grandeur of the entire universe, then it must not be so terrible to be a human being. There is something great about us. And if I really like wonder about it, I guess the discrepancy starts to mess with me a little bit. Like, one person is capable of creating a beautiful painting while some other person is off getting in a bar fight over some stupid nonsense arguments about artichokes. Oh, wait, did I say that was a separate person? No, that's the same person. That's post-Renaissance artist Caravaggio, one of the greatest painters of all time. And he was a violent drunk who frequently was wilding out in bars and beating people senseless over relatively mild disputes. And actually, a lot of great artists who, to me, embody what is the most noble aspect of human nature, that being the power of creation. You know, they were also lowly scumbags who didn't really behave much better than your average Jerry Springer guests. And it's kind of an aside, but all these people that say, oh, well, the true power of creation is, you know, a mother creating a child. No, it's not. Squirrels do that, okay? I'm talking about the creation of art, not the creation of more freaking biological units. You know, perhaps my problem is I draw a lot of these meaningless distinctions in the first place, right? Like, I assign values to human behaviors and assess them along a continuum that starts at disgusting and ends at some sort of like elevated state, some sort of like Nietzschean Superman or something. And really, maybe at the end of the day, the act of like slitting someone's throat in a gutter to steal their shoes is no more or less noble than composing a piece of music that's beloved by millions. And to avoid any confusion on this, let me clarify. I'm not talking about morality here. I'm talking about that which denigrates humanity and that which venerates humanity. Because at the end of the day, denigrates and venerates it, to who? Only to itself, right? Humans judge humans. Like God doesn't judge us. God doesn't exist. Animals don't judge us. They eat their own shit. And they don't feel any shame about it. Like a serial killer's dog likes him, right? The only people judging people are people. So if you surmise that human beings are just gross reprobates who fundamentally suck, then you're also that. So who really gives a crap what you think in the first place, right? But if you surmise that we're majestic creatures that brim with potential and represent the universe attempting to experience itself, then that's great. But, don't you think you should be a little wary of that for the same reason that we're wary of an author reviewing their own book? Sometimes I think that what we really need is an outsider perspective on humanity, but we're never going to get it. At least I don't think we are. Because everyone who is capable of offering a perspective is human, right? We haven't met any aliens yet. AI is still just an emulation of humanity. No non-human animal that we know of can even assess the question of what do you think of humanity, let alone answer it. So we're stuck in this place where we can only assess ourselves using completely subjective terms that we invented with no static or standard basis of comparison, no consistent or agreed upon standards of how this assessment should even be conducted. We don't even know compellingly if it should be conducted, because we invented should be, and we don't even know if should be. At the end of the day, I guess it kind of just boils down to whatever you choose to believe. The subjective reality in your mind is always going to be more real to you than whatever objective reality exists outside of you, because you don't experience the world. You experience the model of the world created by your brain. This is why religion has always found that the easiest path to control people is through belief. If you believe in the God assigned to you at birth, then you will view the world very differently than anyone whose brain isn't running God EXE, right? Like Abraham was willing to murder his son Isaac because he thought God demanded it. Murdering your child is not something most of us would do. But if the mysterious and all-powerful creator and ruler of the universe demands it of us, then, that's a different story. Think about how terrified we all are of the meager power of something like a state. Now imagine how terrified a true believer must be of something as powerful as the postulated Christian God. Controlling what people believe is probably the easiest way to control them, especially if you can install something as dramatic as an all-powerful entity whose agenda just so happens to match your own. I like to believe that I have some choices in what I believe, and I also like to keep my beliefs relatively simple to avoid too much confusion or too much gobbledygook. I believe that most flavors of ice cream taste pretty good. I believe that big butts are attractive. I believe that human beings are creatures that display a wide variety of behaviors, inclinations, and beliefs that make easily categorizing them into, something pretty difficult and also perhaps undesirable. I believe that art is beautiful. I believe that you can pretty much take the sentence "love is blank" and put pretty much any word in the blank and learn something true about love. It does kind of depend on your talent with metaphor, admittedly. I believe that dreams reveal truths to us, probably not from some ethereal realm, but from the depths of our own subconscious. But I don't think they should be taken literally. I believe that most human beings are trying to be their own idea of good. I believe that doing harm to someone who doesn't want to be harmed is bad. I believe that every person owns themselves and that it's wrong for anyone to attempt to control someone else's body without their consent. I believe that carefully reasoned hypotheses are more valuable than gut instincts. In fact, I think intuition, at least in its untrained form, is very nearly the most useless of human traits. And I believe a lot more things than that, but I'll conclude with this one. I believe that everything I believe is just a belief. Even that which can be empirically demonstrated rests upon a foundation of unproven assumptions, such as the existence of existence. An empirical fact about an illusory world is itself an illusion, right? So if the possibility exists that we live in an illusion, then even that which we take to be settled science or to be empirically demonstrable is on some level just a belief. I know that a lot of folks out there don't like to think along these lines. They don't like to think about this kind of stuff. They find it everything from embarrassingly edgy to frighteningly disempowering. And to anyone who felt that way, I'm sorry. Wasn't my intention to make you cringe. Wasn't my intention to make you fret. I actually want to leave you with a little bit of a nihilistic hope. If belief is the easiest way to control a person, and you are a person, and you seek self-control, and I think most of us do, then you can most easily attain that goal of self-control by changing what you believe. Now, maybe that doesn't exactly make things easy, but it at least gives you a place to start, right? Anyway, I hope you all have an interesting day today. I'm TJ Kirk. If you want to see me in person, you can come to Las Vegas on October 6th and attend the Deep Fat Fried meetup. Tickets are available down below. Peace.